This is my 5th year. This is my 5th annual Memorial Day event, paying homage to the men and women that paid the ultimate price for our freedoms. And this is the first year that is being done here in Florida. And nothing much changed so far in our country as far as what's going on. Our freedoms are being challenged on a daily basis because of the Biden administration. And I don't see things changing much until we change administrations. Hopefully we'll change administrations. Hopefully it'll be a Trump administration. And, he'll get a chance to finish what he started. And so, I try to do this here because I feel it's my duty as an American to come down to the National Cemetery to honor the men and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice for my freedom, for your freedom, for every American's freedom. A day like today, you have to sit back and think about where would we be if these men and women didn't pay the ultimate price, didn't fight for our freedoms. What would we be doing? How would we be living? We're heading in that direction by what's happening in this country. Everything that these men and women fought for is falling upon us right now with what's happening with the things that Biden and his administration are doing. We lost our energy independence. Other countries look upon us like we're weak. Biden is looked upon as a fool, for which he is. If in fact it is really Biden, that's another story. But in any case, it's a sad time for our country. But we've been through worse, and I really believe that we're going to get through this. And it's sad that there's a lot of people that just don't get it. Whether they're hypnotized, whether they're brainwashed, whether they just follow like sheep the narrative that is laid upon us by this administration. I don't understand why. I mean, an intelligent human being has to see what's going on. Yeah, I get it, like people didn't like Trump as a man. Of course, there's a lot of things that he did that rub you wrong. But you have to look at what he's done for this country when he took over. And I'm not going to go into his attributes and what he's done. And everybody knows, if you paid attention, what he's done for this country. You just have to look at what Biden has done to this country. So when you look at things like that, what Trump has done for this country, what Biden did to this country, what shape this country is in now because of the things he did to this country, you have to ask yourself, what's next? So I come here the 5th annual time that I decided to start paying homage to these men and women that gave the ultimate sacrifice. And by the way, not only the men and women that gave their sacrifice, but it's the families of these men and women that gave the ultimate sacrifice. These families gave up their young. These families gave up their loved ones. These families that have to live with the sacrifices every day of their lives, that they know they had to give up their children to the cause of freedom for this country. Now, my family is a family of service. My grandfather, when he came to this country, in order for him to get his citizenship, he fought in World War One. Subsequently, he lost a leg during World War One. I've had uncles, my grandfather's brothers, they fought in World War Two. My father fought in the Korean War. My brother, Vietnam. Nephews in the conflict in the Middle East. I have cousins that fought in the recent conflict. I have another nephew that fought in Iraq. And still to this day, I have my cousin's son had just graduated military school, and he'll be probably serving overseas. So we're a family of service. Me, circumstances didn't allow me to serve. I wanted to, tried to. They just didn't want me. Certain things happen, but the thing is I believe that every able-bodied American, male especially, should serve their country because they benefit from it ultimately, and so do their children and grandchildren. So you have to ask yourself, where are we going? Where are we going as a country? I believe once we get past this rough spot, I believe once we get a strong president that loves this country, that loves the people, are going to bring us to a place of greatness again. And I believe that it's a necessary thing that we have to do. We're going to suffer a little bit through this, but we're going to come out of it ahead. Because this is not a battle of politics anymore. A lot of people think that this is a Democratic and a Republican situation where it's the parties that are fighting. It's not the parties that are fighting. This is now a battle between good and evil. Because with all this stuff going on, this is far beyond a political issue. This is a battle between good and evil. And until people wake up and see that, we're going to have a rough road. What side do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the side of good or evil? Because with all the stuff going on with the gender situation, the gay situation, the straight situation, it's far beyond civil rights, the rights of people to choose. Now they're trying to attack our children, influence our children. That's way beyond your rights. Now it's beyond our rights. Our rights as parents. Our rights as parents to guide our children. You have to understand that. It's not about homophobia, xenophobia, none of that stuff. It's about a parent's rights to raise their child the way they seem fit. And no child 6 years old, 5 years old, knows what the hell they want. And no child has a right at this point to decide whether they want to be a boy or a girl. It's God's choice what they are. And that's a problem here. And people running these school boards, they better be aware of that. So, where are we going as a nation? Are we going to the dark side? Or are we going towards the light? I'm hoping we go towards the light. So, here I am, paying my respects to the men and women and to their families that paid the ultimate price for our freedoms for eternity. So here I am. I pour myself a drink. I take a sip. and I pour a sip. I share my toast with the men and women that paid the ultimate sacrifice. I take another sip, and I share, and I celebrate. I celebrate the sacrifice that they made in hopes that the whole country will come together and realize the sacrifices they made for everybody. And hopefully that good will prevail and that evil will lose out. So, the 5th year I do this, in a new state, in a free state, I thank DeSantis for that. I hope that DeSantis and Trump will come together. I think that'll make a great team. And I think DeSantis will be better off running in 28 rather than now. I think he might be shooting himself in the foot going against Trump, because if he loses, I think he shoots himself in the foot with regard to the 28 race, because he'll lose his credibility. So, once again, to the men and women and to the families that made the ultimate sacrifice, may God bless you. May God bless your families. Till next year, God bless.